Hello and welcome to Rainy Day Crafting. Okay, today we're going to do another card in my challenge, and we're going to use an embossing folder. Okay, so first of all, get some paper. This card size I'm going to use is this typical little A5. Okay, so that's, you can obviously do, although it's an A5 embossing folder, but you can cut them down if you were doing a smaller card, and just wanting to do a little panel or something. Anyway, so this is what we're going to do. But first of all, I'm actually going to colour the card. So I'm using some distressed bundle sage, but obviously you can use any sort of Christmassy green you wish. These brushes, I just want to show you, it doesn't matter if I've already done one before, if I show you how easy these work, okay? These are brushes that have got a real sort of, so sort of load up your brush, and then with a circular movement, gives a really even coverage. Okay, always have a bit of sort of scrappy paper at hand to generally so you don't get messy fingers. You see it's given a really lovely even coverage. Obviously you can go backwards and forwards with these. These are quite sort of pliable, these brushes. I think I got off Amazon a bag full, I think 12 quid, I believe. So not bad. When I say a bag full, I think there was 10. I'm pretty sure there was 10. There might have been 12. So always remember to then, you sort of see, turn it round. Quite a nice colour, this sage green, isn't it? Sometimes what determines my cards is what little bits and pieces I've got now hanging around in here too. Right, there we go, lid on. Then with these brushes, all you do, my bathroom's next door to here, and I just rinse them. They rinse clear. I mean, okay, they might stain, as you can sort of see a pinky one that's got a bit of a stain, but they rinse clear, let them dry, and ready till the next time. So I sort of tend to sort of keep greens for greens. Anyway, just to go back as well for what we're doing, I used a die to cut out this Merry Christmas, but I've done it twice and then stuck them together. Okay, so it gives it a little bit more, well, stability, I suppose, but also just a little bit of sort of substance to it. I don't know the right word. I mean, you know what I mean. Anyway, so okay, so which is going to go on the card. So pop them out of the way. So now put that out of the way too, Sarah. Right, this is now ready to go in. Here we go, my big shot. All you need with that is your base plate. If you've got a big shot, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You just need the little thin one, and you just need your 2 top perspex. Always as a tip, put your coloured card. Obviously, if you've got coloured card that you've already got ready, you can miss out that step completely. This card can be done sort of extra quick. But generally, put the seam side together, through first, and then put it on the purely because it sort of makes it bite through here that bit better. Okay, so and then wind her through. I tend to wind her back as much as anything here for the camera. I would probably wind most things forward and back, but the only thing I wouldn't do, which we've not done any, I've not shown you anything of that on here, if we use foam, okay, because if you were to take that backwards and forwards, it would stretch the foam out of shape. So always just remember, anything can go backwards and forwards in these, but not foam, because that would ruin it. Now look, like, whoa, look at that. Is that not absolutely gorgeous? Obviously got 2 sides. What I now want to show you, one I did earlier, okay. Now that's the side that I've done green, and when I put the other one, same colour, but that's just, I don't know how well you can see it, that's the indented side. So obviously you've got 2 sides, so it's whichever one you wish to use. So I was thinking, which could look quite nice, to emboss this, and then which will give it a great sheen. I might just leave. No, do you know what? For how long that take, let's emboss it, because it's quite nice to see. Right, so what I would use, I've got a cut. Versamark, I think, is the best, but because I don't want to particularly take the green onto there, which it do you know what it shouldn't do? So let's have a little look. So just pop that. It's basically a sticky substance on here, which then allows it to pick up the embossing powder. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm changing my tactics now. What I'm doing, I'm now going to show you. Let's get a bit of scrappy paper. Let's move that out of the way. And then on here, so that you can see, it's got a bit of a sheen now where the embossing powder is. So now, keep a piece of paper underneath. I've got, this is a Sizzix. I've got clear and I've got gold and silver, and I think I've got a red. But otherwise, if you're using clear all the time, you don't actually need a load of different colour of embossing powders. Okay. Right. Let's just make sure. I'm not really used to. Right. Now, shake off the excess to one side. Now this, if you do it carefully, I've actually got, just pop a little bit of a crease in there, which literally will create a funnel. And I do it every time. I move just a little. Okay, so there we go. Put that to one side. Now, with this, it's for the magic gun. If you want to then do this deeper in amount, you would just, because that's missed that bit, but what I'm going to do, I could then put some more embossing powder on and dip it back in, but let's just see how it turns out in the first place with my heat tool, which I tend to call my magic gun. Okay, so I just let it run for a second so it warms up. So although it's got the sagey bit there, it's then going to the magic gun in situ. Now, can you see how gorgeous that is? Now, if we wanted to, pop a bit more back on there which maybe we will, because it almost feels as if it hasn't. Let's just put something else on, because if not my embossing powder, remember, will stick totally to the paper and you're just losing embossing powder unnecessarily. Okay, so bit that on there, then back to the embossing powder again. You could, you know, if you want to build this up in layers and make this really substantial, easy to do. So back we go again. Can you see that? That's interesting. I still missed that bit, so I probably would have had to squish that down more. So I use any sort of scrappy paper for something like this, because you don't necessarily want, if there are any bits of this sort of colour left on it, it goes in no fire. So that's done there. Lid tightly back on, because you don't want to. It's not, I mean, I think this is probably the first gold I've had, and this is a few years. So although you invest in these things, you'll probably find as a crafter, you actually have, you know, things that you've then had for years. So I'm almost tempted to put out a list of what, you know, especially because Christmas is coming. If you're new to crafting, what would be your ideal, maybe top 10 things to sort of get you going, and thereafter, you know, anyway. Right, so there we have, look at that, absolutely gorgeous. Interestingly, if I just squished the pad more into it, the embossing powders, embossing stamp pad would have sort of obviously left some sticky more on that green. But do you know what? Actually, I rather like that. So this is literally then going to be going onto the card. What I was going to do, funny enough, and I've sort of changed tactics sort of halfway through, I was planning to just emboss this in gold and put on top. But I think actually, if I now make sure I can cut a nice little edge round there, the white will complement. Yeah, so I've got to take a little bit, just hope with the embossing folder it doesn't sort of wreck. I have to do it really pristinely to make sure that doesn't that would be a humbug if I now ruined it at the, not bad. You felt it catch just a little bit, but hopefully it's all right. I would be tempted to catch that as strips, so let's just check the size again. All I want to do is just leave that nice little edge all the way around. So I've got to take a little bit off here, which hopefully it won't muck it up. If not, we'll have to go for a frayed edge look, and as if we were planning to. Yeah, I think she's okay. There we go. Not bad. Yes. So now, so that dry obviously with the heat gun quite quickly. It's got quite an edge on there, but that doesn't really matter, because if I was to now cut that off too much, we'll end up with too much of an edge, but that's fine. So double-sided tape and a little bit of glue. Look at the embossing powder through on the other side of it. This sort of will stick quite nicely into the nooks and crannies. Always, 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 once you sort of do these stages, I always think it's worth putting some sort of books on it, or weight. I mean, I sometimes use my Sizzix machine because it's sort of quite a flat. But I often just use one of my acrylic blocks that I would then hold once that's now stuck on there, I'd hold it on there to sort of make sure all the little bits are caught. Bit of glue in here. Which is great. This is the this is the bit finding the edge. There's no way around it really. If you can, pull that back a little bit each side, because it almost lets you sort of reposition, because you know with these double-sided tapes sometimes once you've positioned them too late, obviously when if you just put just glue on it, in some ways that gives you a little bit more time, doesn't it? But it's your personal choice in what you want to. Oh, it's so annoying because it picks up the whole of the tape back again. Here we go. I don't, there we go. So, line this up. I might just line this up where I can see this better, because perfect. So that's lined up lovely. Now, do you know what I'm going to use on this? I think I've shown you this on some of my others. I don't know how much sticky pegs I've got on this. Like I said, originally I was just going to be doing the green back, which to be fair, there's a bit of green there, but you hardly see it. Not saying it's a waste of time, but gold embossing is lovely. There's no doubt about it. So then I'm just going to pop that on there. But just to make it a little bit more, I'm going to put a couple of these. I've already done it earlier with a few little berries. All right, they'll just sort of tuck under there. So if I know where that's going, let's just stick these down first. And this one, they're just cut out from, you know, little dies. This time of year probably is quite a good time, although probably now there'll be the January ones out actually, because although it's going to go there. Can you see I've missed off a little bit of my colour on there? So what do? You stick this other bit on top of that. All right, so that's there. Now with this again, I should put the berries on in a minute. I think got a little bit stuck on there, but this is, I think this is called sticky speck, something like that, which obviously for something as intricate as this, you know, you need it to coat it without putting glue everywhere, which, you know, with these, to be fair, if you know, because I'm doing it quite quickly on here to show you, you can sort of literally, can't you, do all around the edges and then hold something on it afterwards. So, you know, regular glue will work, but sometimes these sort of little sticky pegs are quite impressive. So much so, it's because I'm gone into some. Ooh, I'm getting it. That's the only thing. Get on your fingers. They're like loads of. There we go. Put that out of the way. I tend to cut it into smaller, usable sizes. I think they come in. Oh, do you know? I suddenly thought, had I not. Now we want that sort of fairly in the right place, don't we? Don't know if I'm actually going to be able to put that in the right place. Let's see if that will. Oh, do you know what? That might actually just be enough to pop under there without looking sort of too much. So let's clear the deck. There we have a quite lovely embossed card. Okay, so till tomorrow. Thank you very much.